Hi class, my name is Alyssa. Today I'll be talking about case study 4.2 and case study 5.3. First, 4.2 is called Eating Lunch Standing Up. So basically it's about a lady named Susan. She's a part owner of a sports store who's mainly ran by college students. That's who's employed there. There's usually about 10 employees. Susan is very dedicated to her job. She's very driven. She cares a lot about the reputation of the store. Um, Sometimes it's a little bit over the top, according to her employees. She never takes time for herself. She averages about 50 hours a week in the job, which sometimes becomes a problem outside of work. It becomes a problem inside work with her social life between the employees, um, her family, her friends. She often has a hard time leaving her work at her workplace, which becomes a problem at home. She's not a very good mom, and she doesn't know really how to be a wife. She's just so worried about her workplace. The employees say that she is often too driven. She doesn't ever take time to do anything for her staff. Um, she doesn't take time to do anything with her staff. So if maybe someone was taking a break, she wouldn't sit down and have a conversation with them. She's constantly on her feet 24/7 at work doing stuff for the store. She wears all the logos. She represents every single brand that's in that store, which is not bad, but sometimes it's a little bit over the top. And that's why her employees think that she eats standing up, according to the title, because she never takes a break for herself. She never takes time to do anything other than what's going to benefit to the store. So the questions that I have for 4.2, question 1 said, according to the behavioral approach, how would you describe Susan's leadership? I think that she'd have authority compliance as a leadership style because she's always at a high emphasis of getting the job done. She also doesn't communicate much with her followers, therefore, there's no social interaction between them. Um, she also is very focused on the task at hand, so whenever she gets that one task done, she'll be moved on to the next one. She's always very driven to get the job done. That's why I think authority compliance is best suits her type of leadership. Question 2 says, why does her leadership behavior create such a pronounced reaction from her employees? And I think that her leadership style shows that she doesn't interact at all with her employees because they say that she's always driven. She never takes time to sit down for lunch. Um, she only interacts with them unless it has something to do with the store. So if they had a problem, she would come and fix it. Um, she hardly asks how their day is or what she can do to help them at all. It's just basically the task and the job at hand. Um, I think it kind of makes it a bad place for the employees. They don't really look forward to coming to work because of how she is. That's why I think that her reaction is so pronounced because they feel lack of connection, which makes the workplace not as enjoyable. And no one wants to go to a job and not enjoy their day or enjoy the people that are around. Question 3 says, do you think she should change her behavior? I think absolutely she should change her behavior. Not only will it help her in the store, but it'll also help her at home because I don't think that when you can't leave your job at your workplace and it comes home with you, it's just never a good thing because it can't be good for you or your family. I also think that she wouldn't be able to keep her employees if she still keeps this type of behavior because they're going to realize and they're going to get tired of not technically fitting in or being wanted there. Um, Question 4 says, would she be effective if she changed? And I think that she would be effective because she still would have that drive of what she has now, but it's more of a interaction with um, interaction with her employees, which is going to help her not only with her employees, but it might help with customers coming into the store and them realizing that she is interacting well with her employees. She's very happy, friendly, stuff like that. Um, she should. I think one thing that she should also realize is that the employees also help her run the store. They're the ones that help the sales. They're selling everything out on the floor, maybe, or they're advertising outside of work, maybe posting on social media or telling their friends, like, hey, you should come shop here. So that kind of makes me think that she should be more interactive with her employees. I think the reason why I chose this is because I worked at a place, kind of like a recreational place where you could play volleyball, swim, and just hang out with friends. Most of the people that worked there were also college students from my town. But my boss, she was always very driven for the job. She never stopped to ask how your day was or how your weekend went or how's life, basically. She was just always worried about the job. She never got to know you unless it was your name. So I can kind of relate to the employees that Susan has, because I also think that it would be nice to get to know your boss on a personal level, because that's who you have to see every day whenever you come to work. So I think that's another reason why I chose that, is because I know how it feels to not know who you're working with, or not kind of looking forward to go to work because you don't want to have to deal with them. And I also think that this story was kind of relevant to today's work environment, because there's a lot of people out there who don't take the time to get to know their employees. But they need to realize that it's all that's who's helping you run your store or helping you run your business is the employees. Without them, you wouldn't be able to get to know or have a business. Um, if you're just flying through employees because you can't keep any of them, that's going to put a bad reputation on you and your store. So I think like maybe small business owners or like even big corporate people should realize that the employees are also what makes your store, and that will make you help you run your business. So next I had case study 5.3, getting the message across. It's basically about Anne, and she's a program director at a local radio station that is supported by a university. Um, Obviously, all the employees there are from the university, but only a few are accepted to work at this radio station. The employees that are selected there are always highly motivated, and are also highly confident, but most of them lack a full understanding of the legal responsibility of being on the air, because there's a lot of rules and restrictions and things that you can't say when you're live on the air. Anne always seems to have a problem training them to know the rules and procedures. Um, it seems like she'll send, papers home of lists of rules and things that you can't say on the air. And every single semester, she'll have someone that violates the rules, which is illegal, and the radio station will get a fine. Um, and it always frustrates Anne because she cannot seem to find out a way to help them and train them what to say and what to do. Um, and they just don't understand that it is a serious job, and that they just can't say whatever comes to mind whenever they're on there. Even though Anne has these problems and she's trying to fix these problems with them, and she might at times be frustrated, she keeps getting named the nice advisor on campus. So at least that she's doing something right, but she just can't seem to know how to get her point across completely with the rules and stuff. The questions that I had for 5.3 were: number 1 said, what's the problem at the radio station, which was called WCBA? And just basically is a problem with students following legal responsibilities of being on air, and she can't figure out how to train them to not say things they shouldn't, even though they know the rules at hand. So it's kind of like they don't care about the rules and they think that they're not going to get in trouble for it, but when in reality, they actually are going to be. Question 2 asks, using situational leadership 2 as a basis, what would you advise Anne to do differently at the station? I think one thing I would advise Anne is to show more of a directive behavior. Um, she should be more stern to the students and kind of not be their friend in a way, but also be their friend so they'll listen to you. Um, she needs to make them realize that the rules and laws are important and what they're saying can be illegal. So they are going to get consequences for not following the rules and not thinking about what they're doing or saying while they're on the air. Question 3 asks, based on the situational leadership, what creative schemes could Anne use to reduce the FCC infractions at WCBA? I think one thing that Anne could use is the S1 leadership style, which is more of a directive because the employees show low competence because they're not really caring what they're saying. They're just kind of saying it and thinking nothing's going to happen when there is something that's going to happen. Therefore, I think Anne should be a high directive and low supportive. So kind of be more stern, more of like a boss type person instead of an advisor. Maybe that will help them get the point across, um, and not be as supportive or like lenient whenever they do break the laws because then they'll realize like, oh, this is very important. I think the reason why I chose this particular case study is because at my current job, I do train new employees that come there, and at times it's kind of difficult to explain to them all the rules that we have and why we do this and why we do that. It's like they don't get the point of how important it actually is. So I'm a server at a restaurant and they don't realize how important it is to make sure that you're taking your order quick enough, make sure you're getting refills quick enough because if you don't, then it's going to be reflected out on the store. We could get, bad bad views, uh, which means less customers. So I think I kind of relate to Anne in a way because I always find it difficult. I could give them a whole booklet of what to do and what not to do in certain situations, and when that situation comes at hand, they always do the total opposite. And even if you try to correct them and it happens again, they're still doing the wrong thing. And at times it's frustrating because you don't know how to fix it. But I mean, sometimes it's just the person that you're training and they don't understand or they don't care about stuff like that. So I understand where Anne's coming from with the rules and why people don't understand it. And it's hard to teach those type of things because, I mean, how do you teach it? You just have to tell them and tell them why we do it. Um, so I also think that this case study was pretty relevant to today's work environment because I think the way that people are being like the younger generations don't understand rules, um, and why you do this and why you don't do this and what you need to do in certain situations. So it's tough to train people to get to know the rules and the regulations um, when you don't have rules at home to follow. So why do you have to follow rules at work? That's the main reason why I think this case study is pretty relevant to today's work environment because it's hard to teach people who've never had rules in their life about rules that they need in a workplace. Thank you guys, and that'll be it.